Hey guys, we're going to do both 7 and 9. Now, just a reference, number 8 is going to be like number 7. You just have to do it twice because it's going to be x squared and it gets reduced to 2x, and then you have to integrate part again. And then number 10 is going to be like number 9. And number 11 should be more like number 7. Just know that the antiderivative of sine 10x is going to be cosine 10x over 10. You remember that constant rule. Use a k. That constant goes divided underneath whatever the trig inverse is, or the trig derivative is. Okay, so let's just do 7 and 9 on this, and I'm happy to take email questions later. But f of x, f prime of x, g of x, g prime of x, I already labeled them, and I pick f of x. I pick x to be f of x because it reduces down to 1, which is really nice. And g of x can handle the job of being, cosine x could handle the job of being g prime of x because it just antiderives to sine of x, which is not more or less complicated. So let's go through this. All the ducklings are in order. Let's put them. So x times g of x is sine x minus the integral of f prime, which is 1, times the g of x, which is again sine x, dx. Okay, so x sine dx, that's not going to change for a while. So this is just simply sine x dx. And then we could rewrite that sine, so you got to think of the antiderivative of sine, which is cosine, but when you go cosine to sine, it's negative, so it's going to be negative sine, or negative cosine, x. So that's a double negative. I'm going to rewrite the bottom, x sine x plus cosine x plus c. And I'm going to box that stuff right now. That was pretty straightforward, and that's pretty simple. So just a reminder, for number 8, what's going to happen is in here, you're going to have 2x sine x. And you could take out the 2, but x is still in here. So you're going to have to do it again. So it's going to be like a incursive one, or another integration of parts. All right, number 9. So this one's going to teach us something very interesting. Now, I'm going to go with what it would be, let's say, instinctual at this time. And I'm going to call f of x x in this one, which reduces this to 1. And we're happy for that. Then, ln of x, if you do the antiderivative of ln of x, we could look at that Khan Academy video, but it became this real complicated gobbledygook. Now, if that's so, then my g prime of x, which I just called ln x, does not do a good job being g prime of x. Even though x does an excellent job being f of x, ln x does not do a good job being g of prime of x. So now I'm going to decide, instead of using x for my f of x, I'm going to use ln x for my f of x. And that's going to typically happen when you have a ln in your integral. So even though ln doesn't become as simple, because ln x, if you remember what the derivative of ln x is, it's just 1 over x. It doesn't reduce it all the way to a constant, but it's a lot less heinous, not heinous, it's a lot less ugly for this to be f of x versus it being g of x. Well, if this is x, then I have to do the antiderivative, so that's x to the 1 power. I add it to the power, so that's x to the 2nd power. And then I have to divide by the new one, which is 2. Okay, so I'm going to set this equal to each other. And I don't know, I can't think of an analogy. They're all ready to go. So f of x is ln x times g of x, which is, this case, x squared over 2. I'm just going to rewrite that because I can barely read it right here. So that's going to be ln x times, I don't have to write times, no, I should write times, x squared over 2. Yep. Minus the integral f prime of x, so f prime of x is 1 over x, times g of x, so g of x is x squared over 2 dx. Okay, so what I could do here is simplify a little bit in the integral. I could take out the 2, which is a constant, and I could reduce this x into just x to the 1. So it's going to be 1/2 in the front, x dx. Hey, I know the antiderivative of x dx. So that's minus 1/2 times the antiderivative of that is x squared over 2. And then that's going to be x squared over 4. Because 2 times 2 is 4. Over here, I'm just going to rewrite it as x squared ln x over 2 plus c. Now, that should be your answer. And if it's not, it's going to be an awkward edit that's about to happen. Was this number 9? 1/2 x squared. Yep, actually I got it right this time. So, no need to edit this one out. That is your final answer for number 9. So number 10, just as a reference when you try it, you got to make ln x your f of x again, but your g of x this time should be x to the, what is it? What did you make it? X to the 6th? X to the 5th. So your g prime of x is going to be x to the 5th. So your g of x is going to be x to the 6 over 6. So it's going to cause the numbers to be slightly different, but at the end of the day, it's going to look basically the same, in all honesty. All right, so I hope these 2 problems help you out do these. Again, if you need help with number 8, look at number 7. If you need help with 10, look at number 9. And if you need help with number 11, I would suggest again number 7. And then number 12 will go with number 9. So I don't understand the ordering or how they ordered this on this worksheet, but it is what it is. All right, stay clean, keep your distance, and enjoy and relax. Have a wonderful day.